Hello and welcome from San Antonio, TAM Conference 2023, with our podcast guest from before, Reverend Tope Popoola, who is linking two worlds, Nigeria and Houston, Texas, not to say the entire United States, being a reverend, mediator, arbitrator, academic, scholar, and practically everything you can think of in good terms, with his very sharp mind, very precise logic thinking and persuasion. And I hope that in this interview everybody will be able to see that. Welcome, Topa.
Thank you very, very much, Natalia. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Natalia. It's always a pleasure being here. So it's been an awesome time since we got here. So, we're looking forward to greater times.
And the topic for today is emotional intelligence in mediation and conflict resolution. And tell us what comes to your mind first when you think about it.
Sometimes as a mediator, if you're not careful, there's always this feeling that you're looking at statistics, you're looking at problems, you're looking at people who have issues, but you forget the fact that they're first and foremost people. And I think that is the most important element in emotional intelligence, that you're dealing with people who have feelings, who have concerns. Now, to you, those concerns may not be genuine, but that is neither here nor there. The focus of mediation is not the mediator, it is the people in mediation. And I think it's very important because a lot of times you could be looking at figures, statistics, you're looking at, the brick and mortar, you're looking at the figures involved, especially if it's like a financial issue. If it's a family issue, you're looking at, who may be right, who may be wrong. But, nobody wakes up in the morning and just says, I want to have conflict today. Right? So, no matter how misguided you think their position is, you have to factor in the fact that they're first and foremost people with concerns, people with feelings, and you have to work with that.
Awesome. So, Reverend, welcome back. I know you've been a Reverend. You've been a speaker on the podcast before. You've spoken, you've written lots of books. I recall one of the books you were talking about was in the workplace and dealing with conflicts there and customer service issues. So can you tell us how emotional intelligence connects with some of the books that you've written?
Okay. I've written books on leadership. I've written a book on customer relationship management. And I've written quite a lot of inspirational, motivational books. But whether you're talking about leadership or you're talking about customer service, you're still talking about the management of people. Because again, as a leader, one of the things you must have at the back of your mind is that if you call yourself a leader and nobody has enough confidence in you to follow you, you're just taking a lonely walk. I mean, you're on a stroll. You see, your position doesn't make you a leader, your disposition does. And so it is a mindset before it's an act or a practice. And so people must be able to, you have to have a lot of confidence building. In other words, people must be able to trust you. So, and that's why issues like integrity, impartiality. Now, leadership is not about being popular. One of the things I always say about leadership is that it's not a popularity contest. Okay? And same thing, when you're looking at customer service is not about who's the best shot in the market. It's about who connects best with the emotions of the customer. And look at it. I mean, all of us, we all buy. Everybody buys something. But as I always say, people don't buy products. Nobody buys a product. When you bought the studio equipment, you were not buying the name. You were not buying the glare of the lights. That's not what you were buying. You were buying solutions. You were buying what these things were doing for you. That's what you were investing in. And that's why you go to read reviews. You go to read this about this product before you buy, because you want to see the effect that that product has had on other people who used it in time past. And so you want to see if you could translate those emotions into your own emotions. And if they resonate with your own emotions, then you make a financial commitment. So you don't make that financial commitment until you have that emotional attachment or commitment to that product. So in other words, what you want to do is you have this idea, you have this product, you have this service. In this case, it's mediation. All right? So how do you communicate that? Because that's very important. How do you communicate that to the person who needs the service? So what you're communicating is a solution. And then I have to now see that, yes, I think this man is speaking my language. Every buying decision, every single buying decision, whether you want to buy a candy or whatever, the smallest thing, is first and foremost an emotional decision before it's a financial commitment.
I think every car seller knows that, right? That's why they make you test drive the vehicle first before you actually, they want to make you emotionally connected to it.
But you see, the average salesman is always, glib talking, and he's trying to talk you into buying something. And that's why you're so put off. You're like, can you spare me all of these? Now, cut to the chase. What will this do for me? And one of the things I always say is that every single customer out there receives signals on one radio station. And the radio station is WII-FM. What's in it for me? So if you can't immediately answer that question in about a minute or two of that individual's contact with your service or your solution, you've lost the deal. It's as simple as that. So people are not going to come to you because you carry a big name. Because again, why does a name become big? It's because it has supplied solutions to people consistently in a significant way over a period of time. And like I always say, that you're in business when you can solve a significant problem in a significant way for a significant number of people. That's what brings a significant reward. The key word there is significant. And if you can find that at every level, you're good to go.
I love it. If I may, thank you. You, as mediators, then we're eliciting, or we're helping them buy in, is what I'm hearing during mediation.
That's right.
And by using our emotional intelligence, we're helping them see what's in it for them, right? And so I just, it's something about the way you said that, that buy-in, that's when things start turning around for the parties in mediation.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to build trust.
Absolutely.
And that is so important, because I'm not going to sit down and allow, don't forget this. The mediator is first and foremost a facilitator of a process. That's what he is.
Guardian, right.
Yeah? He's not a judge. He's not there to, trade blames and say, oh, no, you did this wrong or you didn't do that right. No, that's not his business. His business is to facilitate a process. So he's like a bridge, okay, between two opposing ends. And what he wants to do, the focus is not on the process. The focus is on the purpose of that process. So, in other words, as a mediator, I'm not just interested in how much discussion we have around the matter. I'm more interested in the resolution. So as long as everybody is on board with that goal, it becomes something that everybody is working towards. So whatever each party is saying must lead towards a resolution. And the moment everybody understands that, it's just like, you're talking to a couple and they say, oh, I'm having a problem with my marriage. I don't know, he doesn't have time for me. Or, no, she talks too much. And, each one of them is coming from a position, right? But perhaps what the woman is saying is, I wish he listened to me a little bit more. But you have to bring that out. You have to help her to voice that out. Maybe what the man is trying to say is, you need to be able to study my moods. Maybe the time you talk to me is not a time that I am in a position to effectively absorb what you're saying. Now, both of them must be helped to get to that point where the concerns emerge rather than the positions that they have taken on the matter. Because when you address the concerns, the positions will shift.
And by saying that, you explained the field of emotional intelligence in mediators business.
That's right.
How we address our customers.
Yeah.
And you started explaining how emotional intelligence can play a role in the process. Actually, I understand the concept. Part of my opening statement in mediation is visualizing with the parties where they are going to end up if we go through the process together.
Yeah.
That is going to give them the space in their lives that this conflict was actually taking away from them.
That's right.
That's going to give them the peace of mind. That's going to give them finally good sleep and the ability to talk with the family law, with the other parent, the way they were not expecting it would ever happen. But we need to work together towards the goal.
That's right.
And now tell us how emotional intelligence of a mediator is being used in this process of leading people to this common goal.
Okay, at this point, this is where traits like empathy would come in. You cannot heal my hurts if you can't feel my pain. And so, without necessarily being part of the conflict, you simply take yourself out of the conflict, but at the same time, at the back of your mind, you're asking yourself, what if I was a one in this kind of situation? What would I do? If I found myself in this position, what would I do? What would be my expectations? How would I comport myself? And so that's empathy, because you have to feel like the other person. Now, it's just like somebody who's trying to create a product and who just wakes up in the morning and just says, oh, I like this, so I just make it. And you have not determined how useful it's going to be to the end user, right? You can have a beautiful product in the market that nobody wants, right? On the other hand, another person who does something that's not so beautiful, but it's relevant because it's able to connect to the emotions of the user, the end user, he cleans out them in the market and you're wondering what happened. You have all this presentation, you have all these, packaging, you have all these advertisements on radio and all of that. And he doesn't even do that. Maybe all he does is use word of mouth. Okay, he sells to Natalia. Natalia says, oh my word, that was, And then Mark, Natalia tells Mark, and Mark tells Ty. And before you know what is happening, you begin to have a bandwagon effect, okay, that eventually would create a buzz in the market. So in the same way, this is what you're doing. And you have to learn how to motivate people in the process. That's part of emotional intelligence. Now, one of the things you study in corporate circles, right, in the corporate environment, you see that people with very high emotional intelligence get to the top faster than people who only have the IQ. Now, you may wonder how that works, that somebody who has all of the degrees, the MBA from Harvard and all the rest of them, is there in one office as a technocrat, okay, and he's pushing files and pushing paper. But somebody who has maybe a third-class degree from college suddenly he joins a company, and in about 5 years is already vice president or executive director. And you're wondering how. But the guy who is the MBA guy is probably more of a nerd who just is comfortable with gadgets, sit down behind a desk, doesn't connect to people, does not know how to relate, and when you try to talk to him, he's very irritable, and he gets on your nerves, and he feels that you're a worry, a bother, and all of that. Nobody sees that kind of person as a go-to person when they have serious issues to deal with. But here's this guy, you're very regular, average Joe from college, who just merely got through. But he knows how to connect at every level. Yeah? Before you know what is happening, he becomes the natural go-to leader in the organization. And it doesn't matter what his rank is, what his level is. It could be just middle-level manager, but you discover that some of his superiors actually ask for counsel from him when they want to do stuff. They want his input. Why? Because he's been able to connect. His life, something about him motivates people, draws people to him naturally. Okay? That's the kind of person that can take any organization from zero level to the top. Why? Because the moment you understand the language of people, you get anything done. Because it doesn't matter how much you want or what you want, whether you're looking for money or whatever it is you're looking for, it's in people. And I like to put it this way. If I'm Mark's friend, yeah, and I need a favor, if I have been good to Mark, there's this thing you call the law of obligation. Okay? Literally speaking, we call it like one good turn deserves another, right? That okay, so if I've been of value to Mark sees that as okay, I owe you one. And so when I come to him for a favor, he will bend over backwards to do whatever he can. And the only reason why I may not get that thing is if it's not in his power to do it. But if it's in his power to do it, he'll break an arm and a leg just to get it to me, because he feels a sense of obligation to me because of what I've been to him in time past. Not because I placed that demand or I remind him of that. It's a natural impulse. Okay? So people always flow towards people who make them feel better about themselves. It's a natural instinct. If I come to you and you're grumpy and all of that and I have to live, as opposed to somebody that I go to, greets me with a smile and, says, okay, what can I do for you? He may not be able to solve my problem, but he's made me feel good already. And so even when he now tells me, I'm sorry, I'm not in a position to do what you're asking me to do, I still feel good about it. And I'm like, okay, but we can build a relationship even if we couldn't get a favor. You see, and that's the thing. Because when the opportunity to get a favor arises, he will oblige you.
Yes. So only because of time, Governor Popoola, we have to cut it short, but we wanted to have you back to continue this conversation on the podcast.
Thank you.
And so, of course, it's always open to you. We record on Saturdays, and I know now that you've met Ty, it would be a good thing for you both to come on together for us to continue this conversation. So, guys, we're live from TAM, Texas Association of Mediators, 2023 in San Antonio. However, if you are interested in more of the Reverend has to say, especially his books, be sure to check out the podcast where he's already spoken. And Reverend, can you give us your website or the best place people can connect with you if they need to?
Well, you want to connect with me? I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn with my name, Tope Popoola.
Yep.
On LinkedIn, that's my professional, and I have a newsletter, a weekly newsletter on LinkedIn, which is called Maverick Musings.
Yes, Maverick Musings.
Maverick Musings, yes, on LinkedIn. I'm there, and then of course I'm not too active on Instagram. I have a page there, but I'm more active on LinkedIn and Facebook than I am on any other social media platform. And then of course I have a website. It's topepopoola.com.ng.
Got it. topepopoola.com.ng. All right. Thank you so much, Reverend Popoola. We will talk to you guys later with the next guest. Thanks so much. Take care.
Thank you very much
Bye-bye.
for having me.
Bye-bye.